Well, just past the quarter pole of the college hockey season, the Wisconsin Badgers are 6-4. They're coming off a weekend split at home against Merrimack. Now they head to the Rocky Mountains to take on Colorado College and Denver this coming weekend. I'm Brian Posick, the radio voice for Wisconsin hockey, and head coach Tony Granato joins us here next on the Badger Hockey Digest.
This is Lexi Rush. She's 10, and she's amazing. You see, Lexi was born deaf and couldn't hear anything. That was until her doctor in Appleton referred her to the pediatric specialists at UW Health in Madison. Now, 2 operations later, Lexi can hear everything. Powerful minds, compassionate care, amazing results. UW Health. Remarkable.
Well, Tony, this past weekend against Merrimack, you get a 3-2 win on Friday and then a 2-0 loss on Saturday. And I know you've discussed this on a number of occasions already, but as you've transitioned into this organization, if you will, you tried to build confidence for your young club, even for your veterans for that matter. But with success, you learn from failure too, and maybe this will help your club down the road.
Well, I think the success and the confidence is a great thing, and I think that's been something that we've gained as the season's gone along. But I think the learning lesson is we went into the game on Saturday, and you don't have success and you don't do well as a team unless you're willing to compete and work for every inch of ice out there. And I thought we went into that game with the mentality of, okay, it was an easy 3-2 victory. Not that it was easy that we won, but the game, there was no danger in the game for us really until the last minute. I think we always felt we were in control, and I think going into Saturday's game, we thought we were going to go in and we were just going to play again and we were going to win. You don't play unless you're ready to work and out-compete the other team. So the other team came in, they had a chip on their shoulder from losing Friday. They didn't think they played well Friday, and physically they were ready to compete on every loose puck and every battle area of the ice, and it took us a while to get going. So for us to be successful, we need to have that intensity and that urgency from the start of the game all the way through the end. And for the first 10, I'd say 9 of them, we've had a pretty good, response about being ready for every shift. And we talked about the Clarkson and St. Lawrence road games. That's the mentality and how we have to play all the time. And if we do that, we'll be successful. And I think, like you said, it's a learning process. The confidence is there. Now we got to get that urgency in our game for 60 minutes in every single game.
Yeah. On Friday night against Merrimack, Luke Cunnin scored 21 seconds into the game. Jake Linhart had a power play goal, and then Max Zimmer, his first goal as a Badger, proved to be the game winner in the third period. It's always fun to see a kid score his first goal as a Wisconsin Badger, and that's one Max will always remember.
And you know what, Max? He's probably had as many quality scoring chances in the first 10 games as really any of our players, and they just haven't gone in for him. He's going to be a big contributor for us. It was nice to see him finally, blow one by the goal there. It was a great pass from Lebowski, who also, too, offensively, I think will get going as the second half of the year gets going, because I think there's a kid with a lot of offensive upside as well. So, but to see Max score that goal, especially they had a long week because he lost his grandfather earlier in the week. So you come back to first game after that, it's emotional and everything else like that. So I'm sure that one was for his grandpa.
Yep. Also on Saturday, we saw the appearance of senior Jedd Soleway, who had played in the opening series against Northern Michigan, but then was out with an injury. Jedd rung the post at one point on Saturday. He was just happy to be back in the lineup.
Especially taking that time off, you miss it like crazy. And once you start watching for a while, it can actually be helpful at times, realizing there's some gaps in your games, and you can really figure that stuff out from watching. And I kind of, I learned that way in school like I do in hockey. You sit back and watch sometimes, you can learn a lot. So, I feel like come back in here, given the chance, I can play a good role.
Tony, you only have 4 seniors on your squad. Jedd is one of them. He's a big young lad that can do a lot of things for you. And he said, he's behind the 8 ball a little bit as far as game pace right now, but he's got some skills that can help you.
Yeah, he does. And I think the depth up front is something that we weren't sure we had coming into the season. And I think as the season's gone along, we've talked about Lynn Zerbel's gone in there and Freitag's gone in, and Ford's and Cavallini's and even Ustaski's. All those guys have played well enough that you'd like to keep them in the lineup, but you got to make a decision. You know, you only can dress 12 forwards. So it's been a good thing for us. And Jedd missing those few weeks there with the injury, coming back into the lineup. He's a bigger guy that can skate and hopefully put some pucks into that for us as we move forward.
Yeah, unfortunately, this past weekend you didn't have Trent Frederick, who's going to be out a little while, and it kind of jumbled the lines a little bit in the power play units too, didn't it?
It did, and it hurt us. And I think the part that hurt us most is we didn't lose him until Thursday after practice. So going into the game this weekend, we hadn't had a chance to juggle the lines. We hadn't had a chance, really to have any practice. So we kind of went into it thinking the lines we had together would be something that would hopefully gel a little bit better than they actually did in the weekend. So we made some adjustments after the series to see if we can get a little more continuity into the lines and a little more flow into the game. So we moved Luke to right wing. That's where he'll probably play this weekend in Colorado, and hopefully the adjustments we made will help contribute some offensive goals for us.
That'd be
That's
nice.
what we're looking for.
Yep. Badgers do head to Colorado to take on CC in Denver this weekend. More on that coming up in just a moment.
This is what collaboration looks like. This is what happens when a cardiologist in Appleton works step in step with specialists at UW Health in Madison. You see, when Terry's condition required a second opinion, his doctor turned to the cardiothoracic team at UW Health. Together, we made sure Terry got the care and the heart transplant he needed. Powerful minds, compassionate care, amazing results. UW Health, remarkable.
Well, the Wisconsin Badgers defense has shown some improvement here lately. Only gave up 4 goals last weekend against Merrimack. Over the last 4 games, Badgers allowed only 87 shots on goal. We've seen improvement from all 8 of the Badgers defensemen, including sophomore Peter Tischke.
I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm more willing to hold on to the puck and look for the right play rather than just throwing it away. And I think that my coaches and even my teammates have just been encouraging me to just trust my skating ability, trust my passing, and just keep working on everything in practice so I can perform well in the games.
One thing that really stands out about Peter is he's a smooth skater, but he's also physical, and he's got that intensity about him that I like, and kind of probably reminds me a little bit of you.
Well, I don't remember what I played, if I tell you the truth, but I can tell you Tischke's done a great job. He's a battler, he's a competitor, he's a good practice player, and I think that's where he establishes his game and has confidence going into the game by how hard he works in practice to get ready. So Mark Osiecki's done a heck of a job with him on putting some ideas into his head on how to play a little bit differently than he has in the past. And his aggressive play has certainly been something that's helped us defensively.
Yeah, and he and Jake Linhart together may be your best defensive pair so far, too.
I got no arguments there.
Yeah.
I think they've been really solid, consistent, reliable. For sure.
Yep. Wisconsin will have Jack Berry in goal Friday night in the game against Colorado College. Then Saturday night, likely Jack again because Matt Jarusik is out with an injury, unfortunately. And it's too bad because I know Matt struggled early, but on Saturday against Merrimack, he kept you in the game with some fantastic saves in the first period and was your best player on the ice at that point when he suffered a knee injury, it appears, and will miss some time. But thankfully, you have Jack right there ready to go.
Yeah, you're right. And it's too bad for Matt because you're right. He had, some inconsistencies in his game for the first 8 or 9 games. We didn't play him, and obviously Jack started 2 games in a row, and Matt was getting his chance. And I think mentally and things he did with Jeff Sanger in practice really helped him settle his game down, and he looked really sharp in that period. So hopefully it's not too long, but like you said, it's a knee injury that probably keep him out the next couple weeks, but hopefully around Christmas time he'll be back in there.
All right. We're going to the ocean in Colorado Springs, World Arena, 200 by 100. It's a big ice sheet. And then the next night you play on an NHL rink at Denver. 2 different teams. Pioneers ranked #1 in the country. CC struggled a little bit. This will be an interesting weekend against 2 different teams on 2 different ice surfaces.
It will be. And CC's, they've struggled a little bit, but after watching the tapes, and again, college hockey, the parity's, pretty tight. And they're a hard-working team. And we got to go in there with the mentality that we went on the road when we went to Clarkson and St. Louis. I hate referring back to that same series, but that really is, if we're going to have success, that's how we're going to have to play. So it's important to get off to a good start to the weekend in CC. The big rink is a different thing, and you know, on your forecheck and then your transition, things like that. There's, you know, things you got to be aware of, but it's a game of hockey. It's about competing and working and getting off to a good start, and hopefully we'll do that on Friday night.
And a team dinner for Thanksgiving, correct?
We will have a team dinner. Yes,
Yeah.
you are invited as well.
Well,
Brian.
thank you very much. That's Tony Granato, the Badgers head coach. Wisconsin and Colorado College face off at 8:30 on Friday night, and then at Denver Saturday. That's an 8 o'clock face-off. You can watch both games online at nchc.tv. You can also listen to the Badgers Sports Network. We'd appreciate that. For Tony Granato, I'm Brian Posick. Thanks for watching the Badger Hockey Digest.